Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So as you guys can tell by the title, today we're gonna just have like a little girls sit down, girls talk. It's not gonna be too long because obviously I have school tomorrow, I have work tomorrow, I also have practice tomorrow, so it's not gonna be too long of a talk, but it's gonna be a talk. Honestly, I was thinking of doing this, and I just was wondering like what topics can I address because I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many topics I could talk about. One thing I also wanted to mention, I initially wanted to do this video as like I was gonna do my makeup and talk to you guys at the same time. But I was like, you know what? I know myself with makeup. I'm just gonna take like 30 minutes and it's just gonna be too long. So let's just shorten it. Let's narrow it down. I did my makeup before. Um, I did it. It was like a quick makeup, but I obviously added a bit more blush. And yeah, my hair is a bit different as well. But I also wanted to talk about the topic of femininity. It's a topic that's honestly been traveling my mind a lot lately. Honestly, I didn't start doing, I'm going to be honest, I didn't start doing deep research into it. However, I did read an article about it today and it really caught my attention. It's really interesting because it honestly navigates a lot of topics I've been thinking about. The reason why I started thinking about it is because I saw a couple of videos on TikTok of women who would say, oh, you know what, like, because, there's some women that film videos and usually, I'm just going to talk about based on what I've seen. Usually it's women of color and they're like, oh yeah, like, finally found a man that allows me to be more feminine or feel more feminine. And obviously I've seen other women who are usually typically white women. That's what I've seen before anybody tries to come for me. And that would say, oh, like, how does a man make you feel feminine? Like, a man should not define whether another woman is feminine or not. And I've been thinking about it a lot. And it's been navigating my mind a lot. And I've been dying to talk about it and say what I feel about it. So, the first thing I thought to myself when I saw that second video of a woman saying that a man shouldn't make you feel more feminine. I see where she was coming from, but at the same time, I understood where the first video came from. I don't think women mean to say, especially women of color, in my experience, black women mean to say, oh yeah, man is making me feel feminine. That's not what they mean to say. I feel like they are more trying to express the fact that they were allowed to express their femininity because with the article that I'm reading, and I honestly don't know the name of the man. I scrolled over it really fast, but I saw Collins. I'm looking at it right now. Um, what was said in the article is that there are certain traits that it's kind of systematic that were defined on what we separate based on what we think, what is thought to be feminine and what is thought not to be feminine, and these things they include whether a woman can give birth or not, so whether she can act as a mother. They also include on what race, but usually specifically what, like in terms of femininity, it's white race. And we talked about marriage, family as well, appearance, things such as like makeup, clothing, and what really defines a woman in terms of like gender and like the way she presents herself. These traits on femininity, but since it was built on a system that was hegemonic. I don't know if I'm saying that word right. Since it was on a system that was hegemonic, it defavoritizes black women. So like there's kind of like a hierarchy of like what is like known to be feminine, and on that scale black women were at the bottom. So I'm speaking from what I read from that article. So obviously having a white woman come on TikTok and say, oh well, like you guys can't just say that, oh yeah, man allows you to be feminine. It's just like I'm not agreeing with that, but I feel like what they meant to say were like they were allowed to express their femininity. And I feel like obviously as women who have not like from that perspective where they haven't understood what it felt like to be kind of like seen under a negative light of femininity, always like having to build independence. You see obviously like black women are, from my experience too, like are always like seen or deemed to be super tough and independent and like rigorous and not feminine enough, never feminine enough. And other women of color can also agree with that. Obviously it's just hard for these women to come in a space and feel like they can be feminine. And from my own experience growing up, I've been like deemed to be masculine and told that I'm masculine or not feminine enough, or that I look like a man and things like that. So when these women are speaking like that, it's like, do you really try to put yourself in their shoes and understand, you know? Um, and I've also, like, things that I've read in the article, and also kind of like experienced or seen or heard about other black women. I'm speaking from my experience, it could also happen to women of color, is that black women are usually too promiscuous, or I don't know if I'm saying that word right too, but promiscuous, or they're too aggressive, or I don't know if like that's a term that's more like heard on TikTok, DSL. You guys can search it up, DSL Urban Dictionary, and you guys will know what it means. But we've also always deemed to be too aggressive, too masculine, looking like men, too tough. Sometimes I've heard also too masculine. Obviously, being a woman in sport as well as a woman of color, it's also harder. Promiscuous, like I've just said, these are traits too that have always been used to describe us. So obviously, we naturally have this armor of coming into a space and feeling like we are not feminine enough. So obviously, I think the women meant to say that being with someone who allows them to express their femininity, not like makes them feminine, but allows them to express it, to explore it, to feel more comfortable in their skin, is what they were meant to say. And obviously, it's a system that is built around, I don't want to say things that are wrong, but it's a system that's built around what is deemed to be feminine as a white woman. So obviously, as black women being at the literal bottom of the scale, it's hard for them to build a definition for themselves. So I was kind of looking over the study a little bit, and like in terms of makeup and in terms of clothing, one of the things personally for me that honestly has helped me feel a little bit more feminine growing up is makeup, for sure. I felt like at a point in my life I did turn into more like, I was like a bit dependent on it. And obviously, like being in environments and a system where I felt like I've been masculinized a lot, especially as a dark skinned black woman. It's been really hard for me, but I've obviously tried to use it as something that enhances my features instead of something that covers my features. And obviously, black women, I've always told that trying to resemble your eccentric features and things like that. So obviously, and little examples are like, for example, as a black woman or as a darker woman of color, not being able to find your shade in the aisle, or not being able to find things that you feel like would suit your skin and would really go well. Obviously, in 2026, it's much better. There's like brands that favoritizes, the darker skin, like for example, Fenty Beauty, and just other things. Like literally the other day I was at Shoppers and I was looking at um, the different foundations and concealers, and I was so happy because I was like, I found this shade and I'm like, this might actually suit me. Like this is a shade that I feel like I can actually use in my house, bro. So this is just like something that I wanted to get off my chest, because I'm like, a lot of people are just coming on and saying, oh well, you can't say this makes you feel feminine, but I feel like we can, especially women of color who have literally lived in a system where they've always been masculinized. They are allowed to say that they can finally express their femininity without being judged or without feeling constrained in like a system. So that's something that really interested me and that I thought about a lot, and about the struggles and stuff like that. And obviously, like women of color, like we've always been told that we're not feminine enough, or like you have to be more feminine, but what does it mean? What's the definition of being feminine or not being feminine enough? You know. And I also dove into the topic of let me find the word, because I don't want to say some stuff that are wrong. Patriarchal feminism, and essentially, like I made a little research on it as well, and I've honestly seen videos on TikTok, a little bit on YouTube about it, where women will um, kind of like sit down. There's videos about it where they'll like tell other women how to behave, but in a way where it's kind of like in a submission way to men. So that also, like, and I've seen an article where it talks about like the pick me of black femininity. I didn't read too much into it because it started to get on my nerves, but I did dive into patriarchal feminism. um I'm gonna look at what I'm seeing here because I don't want to say anything that's wrong. So essentially, yeah, so men are seen as the primary power and women are told or given advice or are given tips on how to be more feminine in submission to these men. Like the way to dress, the way to speak, what to say, things like that. And I've seen a lot of videos about that and it bothers me a lot. Like it bothers me a lot. But I honestly don't think I'm educated enough on the topic to speak about it. But honestly, that's what I thought. Like, I just thought, like, what is the definition of feminist? Like, what's the definition of being, like, of femininity? Sorry, I was trying to find my words. What's being feminine enough? What's not being feminine enough? Like, we've built a system on creating a definition that just defavoritises women of color, and it's just like, do what makes you feel feminine enough. Be what makes you feel feminine enough. Speak the way you want to speak. Don't speak in a way to please, or speak the way that makes you feel the way you want to feel. Wear pink because you want to wear pink, not because you want to get a certain type of attention or because you feel like, oh, that's going to make me feel or look more feminine. Like, honestly, like, I've been wearing pink and I've been loving pink. Not this year, like, honestly, like lately, like a year or two ago, like I've started really wearing pink and loving pink and feeling really pretty in pink. I actually got this pink top from Urban Planet. It's a dupe, and the dupe is from Garage. Garage has the real one, but this is the dupe. I don't know if my mic is dying, but this is the dupe, and I really loved it. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to wear this in this video because I want to, not because I want to present myself under a certain light. But honestly, that was a topic that has been honestly bothering my mind. Um, and obviously as a black woman, like not feeling comfortable in certain environments, not knowing if I feel pretty or feel feminine enough, if I feel like I'm dressing pretty enough, you know, like these struggles growing up and stuff like that, being told what you are and what you're not, like it's honestly been like such a struggle. But I honestly love being around other women of color who are empowered and who aren't afraid to just be the way they are, like just around me and my surroundings. It's just such an inspiring thing, to be honest. But